Hello, today I'm going to try solve cryptic 389 by GetAfix in Hindustan Times. Let's start with the first across clue. Very mean, lousy rebel, backing a leader of extremists. So this looks like it could be very mean, and lousy rebel could either mean an anagram of lousy or anagram of rebel. Backing leader of extremists. Leader of extremists could be the first letter of extremist, which is E, and not very clear to me where we are going here. It could also be mean is lousy, which is anagram of mean, and then there is something for rebel, and then all of this is backing the leader of extremists, which is E, and the definition could just be very. So too many things. Let's come back to it. Research lovemaking, starting off in the morning. Wow, that's a very evocative clue. But how do we get the cryptic off? So, love making could be an anagram of love with a starting off and in the morning. Okay. Two down. Music maker from Borneo, losing focus, stumbled. Okay, we need a four-letter answer. Borneo losing focus is RN, which is the middle letters are removed, and then stumbled is telling you there's an anagram here, so that is oboe, which is basically an instrument or a music maker. Waiter tolerated him after abuse. So this is 6 plus 6, 12 letters. So if you take 4 plus 5, 9 plus 3, 12. So here it's an anagram of tolerated him to get you a word that means waiter. So that could be, just need to think, tolerated him. Okay, maybe with some crossings, but it's a very gettable answer for us. Okay, come back. Not beaten by single, dominating boy for the most part. Not beaten must be the definition, because the other end does not look like a suitable definition. For the most part, it says. So we'll say not beaten by, so it's coming from a word for single, dominating boy for the most part. Boy for the most part could be BO, meaning you're taking out the last letter Y, which is most part of boy is getting there. And dominating could be a container indicator. So we need something for single, and then it needs to have BO inside it, and the definition is not beaten. Not beaten is something in the sense of undefeated. Okay. Wild animal ending in Chinese films. Wild animal ending in Chinese films. So ending in Chinese is the last letter of Chinese, which is E, or wild animal could be there, and it could be hidden, because films could say that it is hiding in this. So we need something that could be a 7-letter animal hiding in this. Chinchin. Chinchin, an animal. It's not an animal I recognize. Okay, we come back. Permission to pass without agony, except when I will be visiting Eastern Australia. Permission to pass without agony, except when I will be visiting Eastern Australia. Wow, that's a mouthful. Peacefully sound, not essentially soft to the ear. So, to the ear is telling that it's homophone, and homophone of not essentially soft, like hard or rough or something like that, and beastly sound. So, I think that could be rough. Rough is a beastly sound, and not essentially soft is ROUGH, rough, and this sounds like that. So it's a homophone clue. Are we mostly dry, low, terribly bored with life? Question mark. So could be just a question mark because the whole thing is like a question. Although question marks sometimes indicate that there's something funny going on. So we have to figure out whether it's this question mark or that question mark. Are we mostly dry, low, terribly bored with life? So, mostly dry, low, terribly bored with life. We need 10 letters. Let's say 7 down. Both is that blue. Not going there now. Permission to pass. Principal instrument out of India. So here the definition could be principal and something in the sense of main or whatever. And a word for an instrument which has an I, out of India, so you remove that I and you get a word that means principal. So the first word I can think of for principal is mean, but I can't think of an instrument when you add another I there. What else could be? Or an instrument could be what kind of instruments? How about sitar minus I, star? Star is principal, and sitar out of I could be star. We have to confirm this later because it seemed too quick to come, and get a fixed answers are usually not too quick to come. Section and bad road built across river in the planning phase. Section bad road is built across river in the planning phase. So bad road built is 4 plus 5, 9 letters. Section is S, so add that, you have 10 letters. Across river, so river is R, and the definition could be in the planning phase or the planning phase. Section in bad road built across river. All of that seems to make sense. but we don't have the number of letters we need, because this is 4 plus 5, 9 plus 1, 10 plus 1, 11. I'll still need another letter before it can make sense. Something in the planning phase. Okay, let's go to the next one. Papers accepted by university faculty head, reviewed independently. Papers could be P accepted, or PP and accepted as A. By university is U. Faculty head could be Dean or Don. Reviewed could be a reversal of that, inside which accepted by university. Reviewed independently makes me think of audited, but that does not have any P in it. Now papers, I know pages is P, not sure if papers is also P. So reviewed independently. Okay, let's go to the next one. We only have 3 clues so far. It's about 11 minutes. By now, many clues, many crosswords are almost complete by now. Former girlfriend say masking drop of unpleasant discharge from sweating. Unpleasant discharge from sweating. Discharge from sweating. Former girlfriend could be X. Masking drop of unpleasant discharge from sweating. Disquiet resulting from slave taking on supremo every so often. Supremo every so often is SPEO or URM. Slave could be serf. Disquiet is the definition. We need a word for slave, and inside that we need a word for insertion of either SPEM or SPEO or URM. Squirm, URM inside disquiet. Okay, had initially recorded absorbing story in studio. Had initially recorded absorbing story in studio. I think this is Atelia. How do we get it? Had is ATE, initially recorded is R, story is lie, so it is being absorbed, and studio is an Atelia. When we looked at this, are we mostly dry, low, terribly bored with life? Okay. This also permission to pass without agony, except when I will be visiting Eastern Australia. Except when I permission to pass. This must be something like euthanasia maybe, but we're not even 100% sure about the star, so we'll leave. Atelia we know is right. Entrance passage for a member. Entrance passage for a member, question mark. This could be a entrance instead of entrance, could be why there is a question mark there. And passage for a member could have something funny going on there as well. Let's look at this. Rickety elongated bus tilted by 100 degrees, say. So 6 is 12 letters, and do we have here 5 plus 4 9 plus 3 12? Yes, tilted by 100 degrees, say. So the thing is meaning tilted by 100 degrees, and it's an anagram of elongated bus. So obtuse angled, could it be? Is it obtuse angled? Let's just check if that is even right. Came too soon. So elongated, the way I check normally, if I'm lazy to write everything down, is I go with the letters as they come. So E and L O N G A T E D, elongated. Now we just need bus, so B U S. Yes, I didn't think that was an anagram I would do on my head, but it did. Probably because the rest of the process is so hard for me. Section and bad road built across river in the planning phase. Planning phase. Something starting with B here. Should be able to get that somewhat. Former girlfriend. I think this is exuding. Though I have to say why drop of unpleasant is being unmarked. So this is drop of unpleasant discharge is U and D is being masked. Sweating could be exuding. Now former girlfriend is just X. So the part that we don't get is why is it ing, if assuming the rest is correct. But anyways, we will worry about it when we come here and then get stuck. Could this be something ending with AGERS? I know teenagers. This looks like some 40 agers or something like that. I don't think that there is a term, but this could be intended to be some kind of a Anglitish clue, and talking about something to do with middle age. And we also need to fit in all these letters, so that part is hard. And permission to pass without agony, except when I will be visiting Eastern Australia, is except when could be ulti something, ulti permission to pass without agony, except when I will be visiting the ultra permission to pass. So ultra without agony except when I will be visiting Eastern Australia. Not very sure whether something that is ultra that can go with it. What about that? I mean, we have quite a good chance that either the sitar clue has another answer or the rough clue has another answer, though they do make sense for us. We have to find it. And then we have one of those is wrong, I think. Yes, exuding could be wrong as well. So only Atelia we can be very sure of. Sweating, it has to be ending in an ing. So let's worry about it when we come. Planning phase is drawing board. This is board, right? Yeah, this is board. This should be ultra something. We just need to see ultra what? It's drawing. Let's say why bad road. Okay, B A D R O A D across river. So that part is right. Section is wing. Okay, so wing inside anagram of bad road. Built is the anagram indicator, and with the river, which is an insertion of R, and in the planning phase is the drawing board. So that part worked out well. Not beaten by single, dominating boy for the most part. Not beaten. And single is dominating boy for the most part. So unwed is single, and boy for the most part is BO. Unbowed must be not beaten, something that does not bow gets beaten, etc., etc. So I think that probably is right. I comb ground inside a grave for nuclear device. I think that's atomic bomb. Another anagram I think I worked out in my brain, because ground has to be an anagram indicator, and I comb is getting anagrammed. So inside a grave is probably tomb. A grave is a tomb, and inside a tomb you have an anagram of I comb for nuclear device. That's atomic bomb. So that makes sense. Wild animal ending in Chinese films. Nice. Ending in Chinese. Wild films. Chinese could be Ming, or ending in wild animal. I think it's lamini, because animal is getting anagrammed, and then you have ending in Chinese, which is E, and lamina is usually film, so lamini are films. So very cleverly used films there. And films could have been the definition. Films could have been an indicator of something, filming something in the sense of covering it with film, which is a containment or a hidden indicator, even. But here it happens to be the definition. Very mean, lousy rebel, backing leader of extremists. Very mean, lousy rebel, backing. Leader of extremists. I would like to think that the definition is very or very mean, mostly very, and lousy rebel, mean, lousy is rebel, is rebelling, so it's an anagram of mean and lousy. And backing leader of things, so let's see, enormously, and let's see if that works. Okay, mean is norm, which is the thing. Lousy is rebel, so there's an anagram of lousy. Backing leader of extremists, so backing E, which is the leader, the first letter of extremists, and the whole thing means very, which is enormously. Waiter tolerated him after abuse. Tolerated him. That's a maitre d', right? A maitre d' is a waiter. So what will we be left with? Let's say maitre d', and we have tolerated. So we are left with O L E D. Do I need a notepad? It's kind of pain to pull it up, but I think I will. Okay, so tolerated him. From that we take M A I T R E, maitre d' hotel. So I think the enumeration is kind of messed up, but it's okay. Papers accepted by university faculty head, reviewed independently. Papers accepted by university faculty head. University faculty head is okay, reviewed as well independently. Has to be DED. Okay, research lovemaking starting off in the morning. Research, I think it is exam. I'll have to figure out why. Okay, lovemaking is sex, and starting off, so that becomes X. In the morning is AM, so research is exam. That's fine. 17 across. Disquiet resulting from slave taking on supremum every so often. Sorry for that, no idea. 10 maids went abroad for religious scriptures. That's more like it. That is definitely an anagram. 9 plus 3 is 12 letters. We have 5 plus 4, 9 plus 3, 12. Religious, okay, New Testament. Nice, Soumya. Your brain is working today. Doesn't happen many times, and then I'm like, oh, I need paper, I hate it. Okay. Digs outside bank, occupied by evacuated ordinary street vendors. Digs outside bank occupied by evacuated ordinary. Evacuated ordinary is OY. Street vendors is the definition mostly, and digs outside bank occupied by, so it could either be digs, and digs could also mean like a home kind of digs, so it could be the actual digs, either of which. Now bank is occupied by evacuated ordinary street vendors. Street vendors are hawkers, but that won't work for us. We need to have, now dig could be burrow deep kind of thing. So for the W, we need a 6-letter word for W and then a 4-letter word. So we don't know whether it's street vendors or digs. We'll have to wait for no. But both of those will have to end in S. So let's look for something. Third letter is S. Kids undressed in peace. So it's a word for kids, and that could either mean as in kid rag joke, most likely, or babies, children, less likely. Now we need a word for peace. Amen. It's the last word. Peace, quiet, calm. We don't know that we have an S there, right? So, okay. Let's see. We can get 13 down. South American occupiers discussed support. So that is definitely homophone clue. South American occupiers discussed support would make it SA, and then a word for occupiers which is being heard, and the whole thing could mean support, or it could be the definition is South American occupiers and then support is discussed, although it seems to me that it's more likely that it's the other way around, where you have it starting with SA and then a word for support, but we will come to that. This makes me want to think that could be, I'm quite sure of drawing board and Atelia, somewhat sure of exuding, somewhat sure of rough, not very sure of sitar, although it does make sense as a word. So what's going to actually fix it is this. Are we mostly dry, low, terribly bored with life? Are we mostly, so this is an ANDlet, and if we did not have that are we mostly, so which of this could be this? I think some arid is dry, mostly dry could be probably fried something, terribly bored with life. This could be see 13 down. Okay, we saw that. 23 across. Element evenly extracted from knee joint. So this could be N-E-O-N, neon, because it's evenly taken out, meaning every second letter from knee joint like this. So you get neon. That's good. Vitamin E deficient in sick, frail bovine. So vitamin is the definition, and you take frail bovine, which is 11 letters, and E is deficient, so you take out E out of it, and we anagram frail bovine, you get riboflavin. That was a nice anagram that just fell in place. 11. Okay, let's see the next one. Kids, oh, those kids undressing are taking away my peace, not giving me peace. Make intense study, losing English church's trust. Okay, so make intense is probably the definition. Study could be con or den. Losing English church's trust. So I think this is confidence, which is the trust. And let's see why. Study is con. Make intense. Study losing English church's trust. Make intense. English church could be ENCE. Rolling segment of green kinked joint is a reverse hidden word of knee, so that part is right. Okay. 21 down. Kitchen equipment fabricated after cutting width. It has to be woven. Fabricated is woven, and width, which is W, is removed from it, and you get woven. Entrance passage for a member. Entrance passage for a member. So this is where this could be wrong, because I can't think of entrance. Entrance is in charm, something to mean charm. Passage for a member. A member is an arm and a leg are both members. Entrance passage for a member. Whole thing could also be okay, I think this is arm, and passage for a member could be armhole, because that makes sense. Make intense study losing English church's trust. Okay. Network is debt. checking movement. Network is dead, checking movement. What could be network? LAN WAN is dead. Okay, could be late is dead. Lattice, I think. Lattice. So you have late, which is dead, checking movement, which is tick, and network is a lattice. So obtuse angle is right. English church seems to be dense. So just make in what about dependence? This could be trust, could be dependence. Make intense is depend. Study is den. Losing English is from deepen, you take one E out. Church is CE and trust is dependence. So we have it one way or the other. Now we have just this part and this part, getting somewhere close to completing it. Okay, this is some boys maybe, wants me to think street vendors are, these boys that sell things in street. Because there is an OY which is evacuated ordinary and that is being occupied. Burrows is digs. Outside bank occupied by ordinary street boys. Burrows. Burrow boys, I think. Is that a word for street boys? Street vendors. Let's go with boys because I think that's correct. And this could be Burrow boys. To have to check whether that's a thing. Barrow boys. Yeah, it's Barrow boys. Okay. So how does that work now? Digs is Burrows. Outside bank occupied by. So somebody can figure out how it is, please leave a comment and let me know how the U becomes A. And so I can understand bank is B, but Barrows is not. If you take banks and OY inside Barrows, it works, but then digs is Burrows. Whereas street vendors or Barrow boys, it says, not Burrow boys, unless this happens to be Burrow. Let's come, when we get there we'll know if the crossing works or not. Okay, disquiet resulting from slave taking on supremo every so often. So since we have R and since we have O, doesn't really work on, right? Slave is taking on supremo every so often, and we need disquiet. Disquiet could be commotion, it could be turmoil. Is it? Slave is toil, yeah, and taking on supremo every so often must be URM. Right, that works. Let's see 13 down. South American occupiers discussed support, sustenance, probably. Sustenance. Occupiers are tenants, and South American is not SA but SUS here. And let's see what this is. Papers accepted by university faculty head, reviewed independently. That's unaided. Now let's see why university is okay. You faculty head. ID is papers. Okay, good. Faculty head is dean and he's reviewed, so he's reversed. And independently is unaided. Nice clue. Like all of our tasks are get a fixes clues. They're all require a lot of work but then make you happy in the end that you got it. Kids undressed in peace. Kids undressed in peace. Ease, pieces is kids, and undressed, you remove the extreme letters of T, E, A, S, E, S, you remove the T and the S, it's kids are undressed, and peace is easier. So we are left with these two. This makes me want to go with ultra limit just because it looks like that, but I don't even know if that's a word. Let's see if it's a word. Ultra limit, ultra light. Atelier is definitely right. Drawing board is definitely right. Okay, one thing that will put us out of misery is to do a check. It's gonna happen, I'm sure. Something might have been typed wrong, but let's just see if we can. Are we mostly dry, low, terribly bored with life? This is definitely an anagram staring at us there. Terribly bored with life. Mostly dry and low is terribly. It's an anagram of that possibly. Or the whole thing could be like we said. And what's the definition? The definition, the whole clue has to be the definition because otherwise it doesn't work. Are we mostly dry, low, terribly bored? Something in the sense of Middle Ages definitely there. So, are we mostly dry, low, terribly bored life? It's definitely a new word for me. Must be something similar to teenagers. So let's just take these out and see what else it could be. But I think this could be some agers. We could check principal instrument. Outside of India, out of India. Permission to pass. Makes me want to think this has to be something like euthanasia. but euthanizing, euthan, something like that, rather than, because ultra limit, although it fit that old letter pattern, doesn't really seem to go with the definition. Pass without agony is telling me something to do with euthanasia. What could it be? Euthanize. So we are stuck in about 2 clues. Permission to pass without agony. Must be some version of euthanize. Let's go to, okay, let's see here. There is euthanasic, which is euthanize. So any one of these euthanic words could work. Euthanasia. Will that work? Euthanasia. So Eastern Australia is telling me EA has to be at the beginning and the end. Except is than, I, except when is than, as, and I will be visiting Eastern Australia. Yeah, I think this should be fine. Now, how did that U come? Except when, permission to pass without agony, except when I, except when is than, as, I will be visiting Eastern Australia. There's a U here. So definition is permission to pass without agony, except when I, than, as I will be visiting Eastern Australia. Eastern, well, AU is Australia, maybe. A is Australia. So Eastern Australia is EA. Not sure where that U comes from. If anybody understands that, then you can leave a comment. This brings star back to me, which seems to be okay. So let's see, beastly sound, not essentially soft to the ear. So this is something else. So rough seems so good, but looks like some other sound. This could be discharged from, would be exudant rather than exuding, which makes more sense. Former girlfriend has to be X, and unpleasant discharge drop is UD, so that part is right. Girlfriend could be date, and former could just be ex as well. We still are left with some letters. Are we mostly dry, low, terribly bored with life? Could be some stars. We still need to figure out the fodder for this and then this. What could this be? Are we mostly dry, low, and terribly bored with life? Something like old stars kind of thing. Still didn't fully edited this. Beastly sound, not essentially soft to the ear. Beastly sound. Meow, meow. Meow is a beastly sound. Not essentially soft to the ear. Seems right. Exudant could be a discharge. Asking drop off ex-girlfriend say. Okay. Masking drop off. So I think it's exudate. So ex-date is former girlfriend. Masking drop of unpleasant is putting you inside it. And discharge from sweating is exudate. I think that makes more sense now. So this could be, are we mostly dry, low? I can almost see world here, W-O-R-L-D, now that we have the thing. World. Are we mostly dry, low, terribly bored with life? Terribly bored with life. Are we mostly dry? So let's take that out and see what happens. We have are we mostly dry is DR, low is there, and do we have enough letters? Mostly, or it could be V mostly and dry, terribly. Do we have enough letters? Yeah, let's see. From this we take out R, we take out T, we take out E, we take out R, and we think it's world, so W O L. World weary. World weary. That could be it. And bored with life is world weary. Okay. So, phew, that was quite a workout. I think this looks like a meow. Thank you very much. I still have something wrong. Let me just do a check grid because, oh, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Okay. Thank you, Avatar. Thank you, Get a Fix. And it definitely was a fix. Put me in a fix in the morning, but I had fun doing it. Excellent, right? Thank you. Thanks, Hindustan Times.